What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Into the Bengal-Verse podcast. I'm your host, Mario Malave, here to bring you an in-depth look of your Cincinnati Bengals. If you are new here, please be sure to subscribe, leave a like, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all your Bengals news and my videos. That'd be much appreciated. Sorry I couldn't be here last week. Moved things around, got a new laptop, as you could see, maybe you could tell graphics-wise. But regardless, I posted a pregame prediction, or at least keys to the game, on my Instagram. You can find that at Into the Bengal-Verse on Instagram. You can also find me at Bengal-Verse on Twitter. But anywho, let's get into this. So, Bengals played a very drunk, hard-fought, just absolute gut-wrenching loss to the Green Bay Packers, 25-22 loss in Cincinnati. And there is just so much that goes into this game, whether it's the offense, defense, special teams. Same with the other team. This goes for them as well. And I'm just going to start with the defense because I'm going to be real with all of you. I'm still trying to process this game. Even when you win or lose, you still have to go about your week, your days, keep living life. You just have to. But there's something about this loss that has just stuck with me, and I can't seem to shake it off. Now, this doesn't feel like the 2015 playoff loss. That was just sadness. The season was over. It was depression. But this loss, I know it's just one game, but I don't know if it's the idea that we could just be 4-1, still tied for the top of the division. I know it's just one game, but still, there's just so much that my head and my heart just haven't been able to wrap around in terms of this game. So yeah, I'm just going to start with the defense, and we're going to go from there because, like I said, there's just so much to unpack here. So we played against the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers-led Packers, coming in hot. Yes, they struggled week one, but you know what? It was just week one. The woes are gone. It's a great team. They looked the part. They played the part. And yeah, so let's talk about how our defense matched up against their offense. So to start, I knew their offensive line had injuries or they had new pieces playing on the offensive line. It was very confusing or just strange to me as to why our D-line didn't get enough pressure. Now, I held off to make this video until Tuesday, but even then, I've tried to see the PFF grades and things of that nature, but I just haven't seen anything in terms of the D-line. So I saw the top PFF grades for the players and the offense, but I believe the defense. But anywho, our D linemen, they just didn't really show up. They showed up somewhat in the run game, but if you ask me, I thought the D line underwhelmed. I thought Trey Hendrickson has been balling. He's been playing the part. He's definitely worth the contract. I think I can admit that now. It seems like he's getting a sack every game. He had 2 sacks this game. He's playing the part. He looks the part. And he's definitely a core to this defense and to this team. A core piece. Larry Ogunjobi, I know he's been battling that leg injury since the Jags game. He kept coming in and out of the lineup. Hats off to Larry, man. He's a dog. He's a beast. He just keeps fighting through the injuries and adversity. Because of the injuries, DJ Reader, great run-stopping, nose tackle. I thought that he came to play somewhat in the run game. He's never really known for being a pass rusher, but still, you want to see him get production there. And then Sam Hubbard. I believe I saw a next-gen stat where you see from top to bottom, best edge rushers in the league from top to middle to bottom. And Trey Hendrickson was in the upper echelon, beneath the Myles Garrett's, TJ Watts, the Bosa's, and below all those guys. And Sam Hubbard, if this is the top, Sam Hubbard is here in terms of pass rush productivity. That's got to change. So we're paying Sam Hubbard. I love Sam Hubbard, one of my favorite players, but he's got to step it up in terms of the pass rush. And it seems like every time I watch him, he does the same thing. He locks on. It's like he's just naturally built to stop the run. Locks on to the offensive tackle and bull rushes them back. He doesn't really have those fancy moves. Carl Lawson had that signature one-hand jab and then club through. Whatever the case may be, I know I did a little move there, but regardless, so Trey Hendrickson's been playing the part. The D-line, they did enough in the run game, if you ask me, to keep the Packers and Aaron Jones in check for the most part. I know Aaron Jones ripped off a huge run in the fourth, but even then, D-line still got to step up, got to do a better job on a hurt. They didn't have Bakhtiari. I mean, Trey Hendrickson made them pay for that, but still, I mean, I genuinely thought that the D-line was going to do much better, pressure Aaron Rodgers way more, but you know what? I don't even know why I'm saying this because the defense played way better than anyone I think thought they would have, and they played to win the game. The defense did their job and did enough to help us win. Now let's talk about the secondary. I have nothing but respect for the Bengals and their players and the decisions that they make and everything. And you know what? When it comes to spending money, yes, there's always a risk there, and that's why they've always been conservative. For the most part, all of their signings have been great, except for one person. One person. That's Trey Waynes. Now, I'm not going to dog Trey Waynes. Well, I am a little bit. I don't hate the guy. I have nothing against him. I want him to play. I want him to be healthy. I want him to do well. But we signed the guy last year to an insane, expensive contract, right? And he's begging, I gotta sign my contract. You know, the whole even though everyone in the league was dealing with this, all the free agents, because of COVID, this guy, I want to sign the contract. Signs the contract. What does he do? Tears his pec. Misses the whole year. This year, nobody's hearing from the guy in press conferences. Nobody freaking knows his freaking favorite color. Nobody knows anything about the guy. Nobody knows how he is in the locker room. Nobody hears nothing about him. Just, he's a good player. You're just going to say that because of the contract. I mean, I believe he's a good player. He was in Minnesota. He was a first-round draft pick. But what has he done? All preseason, he was looking good supposedly in camp and everything, and then him and Jamar supposedly get tangled up in a play in practice, and then the dude hurts his hammy. Doesn't play the first freaking 4 weeks. Week 5, first game against the Packers. Plays the whole game. And you can tell that he looked like it was his first game back in a really long time. And what happens? Final play of the game, the guy's hammy just gets hurt again. Now he's on IR again. The vision of Cheeto and Trey and Mike Hilton gone. At least for the next 3 weeks. They've only had one game together. One. Trey Waynes didn't even play last year, like I said. I don't know what's going on with that. All due respect to Trey, if I was the GM of the Bengals, which they don't have, but if I was whoever's making the decisions, if I was Duke Tobin, put together a trade, cut him after the season. I don't care if there's dead cap there. Just get him out of there. Just get him out. I think the Trey Waynes experiment is done. I don't think there's any way he can play well enough to live up to that contract in the next, if he comes back week 8, 17 games in a season. Not half a season, 9 games, 9 games. I just don't see it. I do not, and he's on IR. That's 3 weeks minimum. That doesn't mean he's necessarily coming back in 3 weeks. So I just don't see how there's enough. So this is the first time in a long time I haven't paid attention to mock drafts as a Bengals fan in years, which is great. I'm glad I don't have to look at mock drafts, but I'm hearing about that boy from Cincinnati, man, the college, Sauce Gardner. Come on down. I want you. Or any other corners that are nasty. Come on down. Derek Stingley. Don't think we're going to be bad enough to get him, but you never know. Okay, so that's that with Trey Waynes. And it's interesting because you're paying him to be your number one corner, but guess who was guarding Devontae Adams for the most part? The whole game. Only held him to 80 yards, got a pick off him, and never got scored on by Devontae straight up. Trey Waynes did, not Chidobe Awuzie. This dude has been balling. He was feasting on screens. I think Mike Hilton might freaking give this guy... Mike Hilton is giving Cheeto something. He's giving him the secret sauce, the secret formula, because Cheeto is reading everything like he just plays with for the other team and just knows their offensive play. Because this guy is all over the place. He's great. He's been playing so well. When he got that pick, I went nuts. And then I was checking Twitter after he got tackled, and they were supposedly saying, "Oh, Cheetah Bay, it might look like he hurt his ham again." I was like, "Oh no, finish the game. He's fine." I love him. Probably gonna get his jersey. He's here for after this year for the next 2 years. Hopefully they extend him beyond that. He's been playing awesome. Great asset for the locker room, not just the team, just the locker room in general. I love his presence. I love how he goes about the game. I love how he goes about his business. Great young player. I definitely think that Dallas and during the pandemic and all that and his injuries and he got COVID definitely played a part into why he was so, I don't want to say bad, but why he regressed last year or kind of was held back potential-wise. He's been playing great. I love his game. I love his tackling. Love his coverage. He's a baller. And then Mike Hilton doing Mike Hilton things. Other than, I believe there was a third down where I saw Devontae got in the slot, and I was like, oh, man, because Mike Hilton, great overall player, better in the run. If this is him in the run game, his pass, I'd say his coverage is like here because he's just a natural Swiss Army knife, you know? He's like a linebacker at corner. Not size-wise, just aggression, tackling, being another commander out there on defense. And, man, yeah, I just, like I said, this game just, it hurts because there were so many moments, like I said, where you can make a game-defining play. And even though it didn't go in, our favor in the end, there were so many moments of the game where we were just a tackle away from getting another possession or to put ourselves in a better position. And it's just like, damn. Because when Aaron Jones ripped off that 57-yard run before the game ended, I was like, that's game. After we scored, got the 2-point conversion, which I'll get into. Aaron Jones, you just see it. I believe it was second and third down. Von Bell absolutely blitzes, gets to the line of scrimmage, like, yes. And then he just misses the tackle. And it's like, dude, come on. I thought tackling was definitely a big issue. And you know what was also a big issue? I don't know who was responsible for the checkdowns. It's got to get fixed. Running back A.J. Dillon was having a day catching balls at the backfield this game. He was having a day, and he even got a touchdown. And I saw Jermaine Pratt yelling at Trey Waynes, like, they go over there, like, because someone was left uncovered. And it clearly looked like Trey Waynes, being in his first game out there, looked rusty. And now we don't get to see him, and now Eli Apple's probably going to come back in. So I'm rooting for Eli, man. We'll see what happens there. And honestly, the way Trey Waynes played, if you ask me, it's not like Eli or him out there was a major improvement. At least that's not how it seemed in this one game. So Eli's coming back. Not going to hate on it. Hope he does good. Let's see what happens. Linebackers did all right. They did enough. Like I said, the defense held them to 25 total points. 25th, so the last 3 points off that game-winning kick in overtime. That made it 25, and that was in overtime. So you pretty much held them to 22 points. You're not going to do that to Aaron Rodgers in that offense much. And we somehow managed to do it, which is great. It's really good. But now we got to talk about this offense. And this is where I have a problem. Because we have an offensive-minded head coach. And I'm not here to say fire Zach. I'm non-partial when it comes to Zach Taylor. I don't hate the guy. I don't love him either yet. I think there's room to where I can eventually love him. If we win more, offense finally explodes, then maybe. But my problem is that going into this year, we thought the defense would get a few stops. One stop in a game, we're like, okay, now let's go finish the game. The defense is playing very, very good. And it's the offense, like it's the scripts are flipped. And it's the offense that's just not what you want it to be. Sure, Burrow and Jamar are clicking, but so think about this stat. They had the third best offense in the red zone. Yet, I believe they're 22nd in scoring. They're 30th in the league on third and short situations. That's got to get fixed. And every game so far, I believe, they've gone 3 and out on the first drive, or they've just started. They haven't scored in the first quarter. They just start so slow, and it's so frustrating. Like these pregame plays, or like because most teams have a pregame script. Okay, first drive we're gonna call these 3 plays, or whatever the case may be, and it's like, dude, just let the offense naturally flow. Like, just don't force certain things. Don't force certain situations. I'm tired of the 3 and outs. The offense has no business constantly getting a 3 and out or not being able to convert on third and short. Like, seriously. And Mixon was limited. I've seen people say this would be a different game if he did play, like, fully. Like, he was load managed, and he ended up getting an awesome touchdown. Insane, sick cut. But, I mean, maybe if we use Chris Evans more. Samaje Perine did good, if you ask me, other than when he got bulldozed on that blitz that led to Burrow getting sacked. But, I mean, like I said, offensive-minded head coach. 22 points this game against a Packers defense that was ravaged with injuries, really, in your home? Only 22? I don't know, man. It's just frustrating. But on the bright side, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase probably going to win Rookie of the Year. Absolute stud. I believe his stats in the first 5 games are pretty much identical with Randy Moss. Only receivers in NFL history to have those numbers. I believe 5 touchdowns in 5 games and then 400-something yards. I believe it is. Jamar's also first amongst rookies in single coverage. First in yards, 405. First in touchdowns with 5. Unreal. I don't want to crown him just yet. But I remember watching A.J. Green, his rookie year. And like I said, it's only Jamar and Randy Moss within these first 5 games. Jamar is having an insane year. He's definitely going to be one of the best receivers in this league. He already is right now. He's probably top 20. But see, for sure, he's probably going to be top 5 at some point, if you ask me. He's just insane. Man, but seriously, the offense was stalled the entire first half. Burrow on that drive where I almost damn near had a heart attack, he rolled out the pocket on 3rd down and took an absolute mean shot and just laid there as if he was unconscious. And it was just like, dude, you gotta slide. I understand Burrow's tough, and I love him, and I respect his grit, but I'm not trying to have Andrew Luck or Carson Wentz, when he was on the Eagles, or even now. You gotta slide. You gotta learn to slide. You trucking and getting an extra yard isn't worth. It's just not worth it. Just stay healthy. Finish the game, which he did. I mean, he got taken to the hospital. I forget the name of the injury already. They kept talking about it these past 2 days with his neck. Oh, throat contusion. Throat contusion. That's the name of it. Which is pretty much like a throat bruise. Which, it's mandatory to get a check because, obviously if you get hit again or it just gets worse, that could be very bad. But, yeah, Burrow took a mean shot, I believe from Darnell Savage and somebody else, and it was just not pretty by any means. He was just laying there, ended up going into the tent while we punted it off and were on defense, and they came back for the next drive, which was good. But I don't want to say this game set back Burrow because he had not a great game. He had a good game. Pretty good game. But he just had 2 picks where it's just you can tell he's still sort of a rookie out there because he never got to finish his season last year. And you can tell he's still learning at times because when he threw that pick, coming out the gate in the 3rd quarter, it's dude, you guys score with a huge Jamar Chase 70-yard bomb, which Burrow absolutely put a dot on the corner, was this close from touching or swatting the ball away. Jamar with the great concentration to catch it, exploded. It was awesome. It was absolutely insane. 3rd quarter, you get the ball back. You have a chance to go up. You score, and then you have a chance to go up after the half. And you end up just fumbling the bag because Burrow just throws it to not Darnell Savage. It might have been him. I don't remember who picked it off, if you ask me. It could have been Stokes. But I remember he was targeting Tate, and then that got picked off just because he was just trying to make something happen. Can't do that. Just throw it out. Just throw it out of bounds. Burrow also had that moment in overtime where he just threw that bad pick. I'm sure he thought Boyd was going to cross the linebacker's face or something, and he just ended up throwing a really bad ball, inexcusable ball to the linebacker, just sort of like Roquan Smith, except I feel like Burrow was genuinely looking at the linebacker and just threw it because he thought Boyd would do something. It was just something out of mad, and it was bad. The offense, you can't get away with throwing it up to your best receiver or player and get a touchdown. That's not good offense, if you ask me. Now, you could say, the Chiefs do that. No, I'm talking, we got to be able to get these chunk plays. Everybody's got to get involved. We got to keep moving the ball and walk away for the most part, where we just punt the ball maybe once or twice a game. Like, we got to score all the time. I don't understand what's holding this offense back. The offensive line didn't do so well. Like, they did decent, but I remember there was that play where Burrow took a mean shot to below the half. It should have been roughing the passer. It was really ugly. He took a shot in this lower half of the body, right below the waist, man. Like, it was really ugly. If you know what I'm talking about, you know it was ugly. But for those who never saw it, they're probably not gonna have the highlight of it because it was an incomplete pass to Chase. But yeah, that was a really ugly ball. Burrow, he's got to learn to slide. He's still learning. He did good enough in this game to where we should have won. So I'm not going to chastise him too much. But this was definitely a team loss. It wasn't on Burrow. It wasn't on Zach. It was on the kicker. The team needed to play in a collaborative effort. And, if one area lacks, it's not like one area just can't carry all the time. It's a team game, team sport. Everybody's got to come together to win the game. When we led that drive and Burrow just absolutely dotted up that defense and led that drive, and then we scored the touchdown. Then we get the beautiful 2-point conversion, which I was nervous about, and then we got it. And then the Packers drive down the field. Right after that, that's when I believe Aaron Jones had that 57-yard run, and I was like, oh no. And then the defense held their ground, and then we held them to a field goal, and there was still enough time. And Crosby missed, and we were like, oh man, like yes. And then we drove down the field with a little bit of time left. I believe it was 3rd and 5. We called a run to Samaje Perine, send Evan McPherson out there for a 49-yarder, and he misses. So Crosby missed, which was nuts. But even if he made it, we still would have had a chance to go down. But we had a chance to just take the game right there. And instead of keeping the offense rolling, you just call a run. Now, we drafted Evan McPherson, yes. Yes, he's hit 2 game winners already. If you ask me, I personally would have just kept passing the ball, getting as close as possible. No matter what, it's Aaron Rodgers, it's the Packers, you never know. Whenever you go against great teams, sometimes your own team can just beat themselves. Because that's just the stigma. That's just the way it works in the NFL. Weird things happen. So, Evan McPherson ended up missing. And overtime happened. We get the ball. First play of the game. I was watching the game at my cousin's house downstairs on their TV. And I was watching it. And then they were watching the Steelers game upstairs. And the Steelers game is practically over, so they put the Bengals game on. They said, come upstairs. As soon as I leave the room, I'm a little superstitious at times. I go upstairs, and first play, Joe Burrow pick. I was absolutely livid. I thought the game was over right then and there. Then the defense holds their ground. Once again, Mason Crosby, miss. It's like, what the heck? I was absolutely going bonkers. Joe Burrow leads another drive. And then I believe that's when they call another run. And it's 4th and 2, I believe. Regardless, 57-yard field goal. Evan McPherson kicks it up left and hits the flag. And he thinks he hit it. And I'm not going to lie, I saw him miss it. But I thought he hit it because he was celebrating. So I was like, yeah. And then I was like, oh, it was just... This was 2 days ago, and I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this crazy freaking game. Like, this game was nuts. And then the Packers end up getting that one last drive in overtime. I thought it was just going to keep going back and forth, possible tie. But, it's Aaron Rodgers. He leads that drive. It was 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18 at one point, and then he just hits a dot to Randall Cobb. They get it. It's 4th and inches. They go for the kick. and then that's the game. And yeah, it was just unfortunate because Jamar Chase had an absolute game. He's a beast. But Devontae Adams was also carving up yards on our defense, and he was eating. We didn't really have an offense for him, but I had a feeling that was going to be the case. If you ask me, he's the best receiver in the league, one of my favorite players in the league. He's absolutely awesome to watch. But yeah, it was very unfortunate that we couldn't close out this game. Like I said, it's a team sport. It's a collaborative effort. You know, I don't think the loss is on Joe Burrow. I don't think it's on Taylor specifically. I don't think it's on McPherson specifically. Even though the defense played good enough to beat the Packers, you know, there's still little things here and there you never know you can clean up. And yeah, we're 3-2. Baltimore beat the Colts yesterday. They're 4-1. Plenty of season left. We got Detroit this week. They haven't won a game yet, but Dan Campbell's an absolute psychopath. He's awesome. I love his energy as a head coach. And it's definitely no sleeper game. It's definitely going to be, they're going to come to play. They're hungry for a win, just sort of like Jacksonville. Hopefully that's a game where the offense can start clicking. I'll get into that preview at some point later this week. But seriously, this was a game that we should have won. I understand that there's no moral victories. I personally was proud of how this team played. I'm glad that we know that they can play against teams like this. I believe NFL rankings have the Bengals at 11, if I'm not mistaken. I think NFL might have them 13, but I saw Bleacher Report Gridiron had them at 11. This team's good. This is not the same team. And now that we're at this point where we know where we're good, losses are going to be more annoying because we know that we should have won those games. Chicago should have won. Green Bay should have won. But you know what? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's life in the NFL. Games are they're always usually decided by 7 points, 3 points or less at times. You know, that's just what it is. And it's where we are now. We're at 3-2. We got Detroit this week. I believe Baltimore plays the Chargers. And I forget who Cleveland plays in the Steelers. We'll get into that, like I said, for the when I give my Lions breakdown. But nonetheless, yeah, this game hurt. Still hurts because you just know that you could have won. But you know what? We gotta move on to Detroit. Just gotta look at it that way. And yeah, we know what this team is capable of, and it still hasn't even unleashed its full potential. And we play with a team like that. I'm definitely excited. Can't wait to see how they bounce back Sunday because I'm hungry for another win, man. Got to go 1-0 every week. That's the goal. But, yeah, anyway, that's going to do it for the Into the Bengal-Verse podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Martin Walave. Like I said, I'm going to be giving my breakdown, pregame, or my game review, preview of the Lions later this week. Very excited to see what the future has in store. I really enjoy doing this. This is very fun. Hopefully I continue to keep doing this and get better as I go. And yeah, hopefully you all have a blessed day, a great day, and a who day. So I'll see you all later.